The Do This podcast is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network. Chad Hyams and guest Trae Dauby dive into the nuances of accountability in real estate. Learn how tools like Brevity's agent dashboard and Gabby AI enhance productivity, and how market reports can solidify client relationships. With insights drawn from Trae's own real estate journey, listeners gain practical strategies to translate training into actionable results. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Do This podcast, presented by Brivity.
Recording in progress. Welcome to Do This, folks. And it's Chad talking to you today, right now, because Bob's not here. Now, I'm going to ask a huge favor of all of you, whether it's you go to Bob's Facebook, whether it's you have Bob's phone number and you text him, whether it's you have Bob's email somewhere and you go email him. Folks, today is Bob Stewart's birthday. He is on vacation in Cabo celebrating with his family, which is the reason that I don't have to have him sitting beside me. I get this good-looking guy instead of Bob here. Folks, send Bob a message. Go blow him up for his birthday. Send him a message, however you can connect to Bob Stewart. In the meanwhile, I'm here with Trae Dauby joining me for Brivity's Do This call today. Trae, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here. I'm a little disappointed, though, that I didn't get the invite from Bob to be in Cabo. I actually texted him earlier this week, and he told me he was in Mexico. I said, get back to your vacation. So good for him, and happy birthday, Bob.
There you go, right? He didn't invite me either. I did my best. I actually think I just got a text from one of his boys, though. I haven't looked at it yet. Looked like it came across. Trae, we don't read bios. We don't tell everybody how wonderful you are. We want to put you on the spot to do that. Tell everybody who you are, where you are. Introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, that's definitely putting me on the spot because I definitely don't like to brag, but at the same time, I feel like somebody's background is important to understand their story as they hop on a podcast. So, yeah, my name's Trae Dauby, team leader of Dauby Real Estate, our team here in Southwest Indiana, and are actually in the process of opening up our team in Kentucky. So we're excited about that. But I got into real estate back in 2015, did it part-time for about a year, actually. And in my first 10 months, I sold 30 houses, doing it part-time while having a full-time job. And so transitioned quickly into full-time real estate. Actually, Tuesday was my first hire in 2016, who's still on the team today. And her and I sold 90 houses. We scaled quickly. We went from 30 to 90 to 185 to 295 home sales. The first 4 years I was in the business. Did a bad job of managing and leading people, though. I was too accountability focused, chased everybody off in 2021. Not everybody. Tess on Tuesdays has been with me from the beginning, but chased a lot of people off in 2020 and have rebuilt, have a great group of people now. And most of them have been here anywhere from, a year or 2 to 5 years, with a couple people, like I said, almost 10 years.
That's amazing. You said one of my favorite things with a line we want to make sure doesn't get crossed in there, and that was over accountability, right?
Yes.
It sounds like there was a little bit of that. Can you talk about that? Like, everybody knows the term accountability, yet everybody runs from it, Trae. We all hear consequences when we hear accountability, and that's not what one means. They mean different things. Will you talk a little bit about accountability, over accountability, and we'll get into that a little.
Yeah, it was part of my lesson in leadership as I grew our team. I'm a big believer in accountability because I believe accountability is the highest form of love, excuse me. Too many people, your best friend, they let you off the hook, and it's because they just don't have the guts. They don't care enough to hold you accountable to what you want to do. And I was young, naive when I got into real estate, and I was burnt out on my existing job, had these high hopes to make a lot of money, to impact lives. And so whenever I started recruiting people into my world, I thought everybody wanted to do the exact same thing as me. And so I was like, if we're starting the day off 8 o'clock in the office. We're doing a daily huddle. And immediately after that, we're doing lead gen. And then it's lunchtime. And then the rest of the day is your own as long as you're going out on appointments. But if you're not on appointments, you need to be in the office making calls. So 2 o'clock in the afternoon and nobody's in the office. I know they're not at appointments. I'm calling them. What the heck are you up to? Well, you can imagine people don't like to be micromanaged, especially people that choose a career in real estate as an independent contractor. So I was pushing people towards goals that they didn't even want. And that's what I learned throughout that process is I want to help people and support people and grow people to the lifestyle they want to live. So now if you join our team and you partner with us and you want to sell 18, 24 houses a year, That's what I want to hold you accountable to. Like if you're like, hey, I want to sell 18 houses, but I want to spend a ton of time with my family, I'm going to hold you accountable to those 18 houses, but I'm also going to hold you accountable to spending that time with your family. But if you're in our world and you say, I want to sell 50 houses a year, we're going to build a plan and hold you accountable to that.
So you held them to goals they didn't necessarily want because you just
Exactly.
assumed everybody wanted what you want. And that scared people off, pushed people away, had many people, we won't say all of them because some of them have stuck with you and learned
Yeah.
through it. Now you've learned to soften that a little bit and find out what their goals are. That's, I think, a lot of people will give us fake answers, Trae.
Mhm.
What's your goal? Well, my goal is to sell 50 houses because I don't know. And I've heard that. Talk a little bit about the conversation where you're helping people identify what it is that you're going to then be able to hold them to.
Yeah, I mean it's a conversation about what type of lifestyle do they want to live, not how many houses do they want to sell, because everybody will say they want to sell 50 houses or 40 houses or whatever, but why do you want to sell that many houses? So, what type of lifestyle do you want to live? How much time do you want to spend working in real estate? What type of income do you want to create? And more importantly, why is that income important to you? What's your motivation behind that income? And then also, how much income do you need to make? Because sometimes I see a disconnect in somebody that says, "Hey, I want to make $150,000," but in reality, they only need $60,000 to function throughout their life. So, if they set a goal of 150, but they only need 60, sometimes we see a disconnect there. So we have to have deeper conversations around, okay, here's what you want to make. Here's what you absolutely need to make. What are we going to shoot for at this point based on those two numbers?
Okay. How often do you realize they didn't give you the real answer? Like, how long do you have to build trust with these people before they really say to you what that answer is? On day one, I'm guessing that they're just giving you, they don't buy in yet or don't trust you enough to open up, bare their soul, and give you honest answers.
Yeah, I mean, it's only natural for people to be guarded and maybe to have an ego as well and say, hey, I want these big things when in reality they don't. So a part of our world is we're a part of place. And Ben Kinney's a great trainer on interviewing and getting to know people. And so we walk them through the place interview process where we talk about goals and we talk about 5 key areas of goals. And if you ask them about like who's important in their life and you get to know them on a personal level, they'll open up to you more and trust you more and be more honest with you. But I definitely think it's a fine balance because as real estate agents and independent contractors, everybody tends to be optimistic, right? People aren't going to bet on themselves and get into a commission only job if they're not an optimistic person. If they're pessimistic, they're not going to do this. So, being optimistic people, we tend to shoot for the moon and hopefully we land somewhere close to it. And so whenever we do goal setting, we realize that hey, we're being optimistic whenever we set these goals.
Okay, folks, I want to let everybody know Ben Kinney might teach amazing interview skills and all that. He just took me fishing and said, if we can survive in a boat for 3 days, drifting down a river in miserable weather in Forks, Washington, we can do anything. And that was my job interview, just so we all know. He's come a long way with his interviewing since then. Okay, so talk to me about, let's do business first. I do want to dive into personal too, because anybody on this call that's looking to lead a team or become a leader in the team they're on, it's more than just business. It is personal as well. And you mentioned maybe I want to make this much and I want to be able to spend this many hours, or I never want to miss one of my kids' soccer games or whatever that is. And that's a goal of mine. Are you harder on the business side because it's more black and white? How do you separate business and personal to help hold your people accountable without over accountability that comes along with it?
Yeah, I think that's the $1,000,000 question. And, we have a smaller team, 15 agents. So it's easier for me to get to know all of our agents and get to know them on a
Trae, I
personal
just
level.
I just want to cut you off there for a second and say, did you all hear that? We have a smaller team of 15 agents, right? There are a lot of people who would like to have a team of 15 agents, Trae. You've got a great sized team there. Don't sell yourself short.
Well, yeah. But as I was saying, with 15, I get to know everybody on a personal level. Madison's our director of sales. She meets with people regularly as well. So we're meeting with them regularly to do one-on-one coaching. As a part of it, we're also checking in at what's happening in their life, because everybody goes through challenging times in their lives. So if somebody has a personal situation that's holding them back from work at that time, we don't want to beat them over the head with, hey, you said you're going to sell this number of houses, you're going to make this amount of money, because they may have something personal going on that is more personal. So I think it's seasons of life for people, and where are they at? If things are going well and they want to focus on work, yeah, we're going to hold them to the numbers. But it's always about, developing a custom plan for them.
That's awesome. How do you use Brivity to help you with accountability?
Brevity is a great tool for accountability. So we joined Place in 2023. We came from another software prior to that. I really liked that software. And then when we transitioned to Brevity, it was a very small learning curve. It's very user-friendly. So, I didn't go through any of the training stuff. I just hopped in and started working it. And I've seen Brevity grow a ton the 3 years that we've been on it. The agent dashboard is absolutely phenomenal. We can take a look and see where their sources of business are coming from. Where do we want to double down your efforts? Hey, you're killing it with your SOI. How can we support you in your SOI growth? But then, hey, maybe you're not doing as much business from team provided or a sign call. You've answered a lot of sign calls we can see inside of the database, but you haven't converted them. So we need to work on training around that. They also have the metrics in there where it tracks conversion throughout the sales funnel, all the way from how many dials are you making, how many conversations are you having, how many appointments did you set, how many did you meet with, and of those people you met with, how many did you sign and ultimately get under contract? So we can look at the statistics and conversion from each one of those areas and say, hey, you're falling short here. This is an area that we could use improvement on. So the agent dashboard is very big for accountability.
What about an agent who's on their own? We got somebody watching this who's a solo agent. They're wanting to just get the do this. It's hard to hold yourself accountable. It's a very, very specific person that can hold themselves accountable truly. What's your recommendation? How can they use Brivity to hold themselves accountable better, other than the answer of, folks, go get a coach, right? How can they use the tool just to get one step farther and let it be their coach?
Yeah, Brevity is a great tool. I recommend it all the time. A solo agent in our market, I think, just signed up for it about 6 months ago based on my recommendation, because it just keeps your business so much more organized. You have everything built in. You can see what's happening. So the easiest way, I would say, if you're a solo agent and you don't have anybody to hold you accountable, is maybe connect with another agent in your brokerage or a mentor in your brokerage that could hold you accountable. But let's say you're at a small independent brokerage and there's literally nobody. I would say find a family member. Last year, we did a competition within our organization where if you did X, Y, and Z things, you got to go come up. I live in a small community and we have a lake and a boat. So we said, hey, if you do these things, you can come over to my house for the day. We'll take your kids out tubing and all this. And her little boy had been wanting to go tubing for a long time. So she went to her son and said, hey, here's what I have to do over the next 2 months. And if I do these things, we get to go out on a boat and go tubing. So her son was holding her accountable. So tag a family member in.
That is a great, great lesson, folks. If you don't know that one, tell a child something and make it around their goal, and they will hound you worse than any coach you could ever hire. That's a great, great point, Trae. Okay.
Not to mention, one other thing I wanted to mention as we're on that topic is another thing is I'm a big fan of public accountability. So if you're on a team, state it out loud. If you're not on a team, post it on social media. Say what you're getting ready to a challenge, because it's embarrassing to go back and say I didn't do the things that I said I was going to do, and somebody may reach out and be like, "Hey, how's that thing going?" And it's ultimately peer pressure.
There you go. Peer pressure is a killer. Okay, so folks, accountability gets a bad rap. Talk about that for a second, Trae. I'm putting you on the spot, right? Accountability gets a bad rap because, as I said earlier, I believe most people hear the word accountability and what they really hear is consequences. They think there's a punishment automatically coming. Can you just talk about accountability as a general subject?
Yeah, unfortunately, accountability does get a bad rap. I know some people, they try not to use that word. They try to phrase it as something else, because accountability is not liked by people just naturally. But I come from a sports background. I grew up playing sports. I played college baseball, and in our world, you always had a coach. You always had somebody holding you accountable to the things that you need to do. So I wish there was a way around it, but it's a fact of life.
Stop fighting it, folks, is what Trae's telling you, because
Exactly.
accountability brings results, either positive or negative. That's your choice. It doesn't have to be a consequence. It could be bringing a reward because you had that accountability, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what we do in do goal planning. We're talking about the reward that you're going to get. And so we build our accountability around achieving a goal, not, hey, you don't get to do this because of X, Y, and Z.
Okay, you brought up goal planning. How do you keep people's goals in front of them? Do you have like a goal wall in your office where people have pictures of the places they want to go and the cars they want to buy? Do you create vision boards, or is it just, look, you planned it, we sure hope you remember why you're doing this?
Yeah, we're not a big vision board team. We haven't historically done that, but that's one of the great features inside of Brivity. If you go to the agent dashboard, like we talked about earlier, if you click on it, it'll show what your goals are, and it will show if you're ahead of schedule or behind schedule or where you are inside of your goals. So the agent dashboard is the best place. On top of that, on a monthly basis, we give them their multi-year trends so they can see how they're pacing to the previous year, and then usually their goals are a function of that previous year. So if their goal is to grow their business by 25% this year, if they're looking over their multi-year trends and their business isn't up 25%, they automatically know that they're behind pace. But my personal favorite is the agent dashboard on Brivity.
All right. So whoever's listening from Brivity right now, Ben, if you're listening to this for some reason and hearing Trae and I both say hi, right? I want a visual on that agent dashboard. I want Brivity to ask me what my goal is, like travel, car, house, whatever. And I want to see a house kind of get colored in, or I want to see the airplane get colored in. So I have a visual representation. So there you go. I just added a feature to Brivity. Let's get a petition going, and we'll get the guys building that.
I like that. Inside of our team training room, we have our team's goal up there. It shows the number of houses that we need to sell. And then every team meeting, we pass out stickers at the closing with the sticker has the person's face that closed the deal. And so they go up and they put their sticker on the house so it tracks where we are in relation to our team goal. We do have some agents that separately created sheets where they fill in the house as they close another one and get closer to their goal.
That's awesome, folks. I'm not a vision board guy myself. I'm with you on that, Trae. Yet visuals help, right? Doesn't mean you have to have a whole vision board, but you can have a little thing that's sitting on your desk that's the Eiffel Tower. If you want to go on a trip to Paris as your goal, just to see it and remember whatever that is, a little toy car. If it's a specific car you want to buy, go find the Hot Wheel version of it, right? Put it on your desk as a little visual reminder. Those things will help. How much does you got 15 people on the team? How much do they end up just holding each other accountable that you don't have to anymore because they're all in that environment?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that very last word, environment. I'm a huge believer in the environment. We all know that you're the sum of your 5 closest friends. So it's a good thing and a bad thing because we changed how we more or less recruit people into our world about a year ago. And so sometimes people come into our world and they feel pressured because we have such awesome people in our world that are selling so many houses. And they come into the office, they show up to the role plays, the script sessions, they get on all the place calls. And so I'm a big believer in your environment is key to your success.
Okay. Is it obvious to you the people who aren't going to make it? Because of this goal and then accountability conversation, can you, and I'm not going to ask you to name names, of course, but after someone's there for 2 or 3 weeks, can you usually look and say, yeah, they're not going to be here in a year?
As I mentioned, real estate agents are optimistic, and I'm the exact same way. And I've heard other team leaders talk about this, and sometimes I'm probably a little too optimistic, or I care or want it a little bit more than they do. So in the 2 to 3 week time frame, I'm not the greatest at it. By the 2 to 3 month mark, though, I'm like I have a good feeling as to how they're gonna fare.
Yeah, sometimes we want it more than they do, and therefore we believe they can until they truly show us that they can't and they're not going to.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So I want to shift gears. Hard left turn here, right? I'm going to go. So other than the agent dashboard, for the numbers, for the actual data that is there, for the tracking, which is basically self accountability, what's your favorite feature in Brivity, and how do you and your team use it in a way that everybody could learn?
I absolutely love market reports because it's
Okay.
something of value that you're giving your clients, your friends, your family, either on a biweekly basis, monthly basis, however often you decide to do it. And it's a great dashboard because it gives you a range of what the value of the home is. But not only does it give you a range, it shows you what other websites are showing it the property's worth. And then they can go inside and see what's happening inside of their neighborhood and their community to see homes that are active, what's sold. And then I like it selfishly as an agent because there's lots of call to action inside of it. Plus, if people are highly engaged, that's a great reason to reach out. So I love the market report. Gabby AI has been a game changer. It's continuously getting better and better. You can ask it questions, what to say to a potential client, which one of my clients is most likely to move within the next 3 months. So with AI taking over, I'd say Gabby is probably that. Prior to AI, I love the market reports.
Well, let's hit both of those a little bit. Let's start with the market reports. If you have an address, are they on a market report? Is that the simple procedure that if they're going into Brivity and we have an address for them, we immediately send a market report? What's that system look like?
Yeah, 100%. If we have an email address and a physical address, they are getting set up on our market report 100% of the time, because ultimately they can unsubscribe if they want. Best practices is a week or two after you send them the first email, follow up and ask them if they got it. If they had any questions, if they didn't get it, check your spam and unmark it as spam so that it actually hits your inbox, because your home is one of your biggest assets. A lot of people track the stock market, but they don't actually track their biggest asset, which is their home.
It's a great point. How many times a day do we open up, Robinhood to see what's going on with our little stock portfolio carried right on our phone? Yet when was the last time we looked up the value of our property in detail? Excellent point you make there, Trae. What if you don't have an address? Do you put them on a generic market report for an area, or is it no, they got to have email, they got to have address because we're going specific for their properties?
That's a great question. That's actually something we're transitioning into because the last couple of years we haven't set them up, but we are starting to set them up on just general neighborhood market reports now.
How often do they get the market report?
Most of our database, it's every other week. Some people set it up for once a month.
Is that too often? Like, do you see that you get more unsubscribes because it's coming regularly? Or do you feel that, nope, we don't get anything, so we might as well touch them twice a month that way instead of just once a month?
No, I mean, we don't see a big change in opt-outs. I'm just a big believer in providing value. So twice a month is better than once a month. Plus, them seeing my name in their inbox is better than them seeing it once a month. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. If it's somebody that you have never met before and you think they're going to be doing business, I would definitely do every other week because you are staying in front of them more heavily. If it's a client that you've worked with in the past, a family member, I don't think once a month is a wrong path either.
Okay. Do you follow the day in a life? And are you guys looking and saying, oh, the market report goes out on, we'll just say the first of every month is one of the days we send it. On the second, we are checking to see who clicked, who opened, and we're picking up the phone and calling those people.
Yeah, I love the day in the life of my Brivity database because it makes it super easy on the agents. They don't have to think, just come in and follow the plan. Are we great at it? We're not as good as we should be, but there's a lot.
Do you need someone to hold you accountable?
Maybe. Can you be that guy, Chad?
You don't want me. I'm worse than you were. Okay, so market report being a very powerful tool, and it's right there, folks. It's not hard to attach the market report. Bob's done this multiple times live and shown you click, done. It's there, right? Trae's saying they send every other week. Folks, don't sit there and question. If he's doing it and it's working, do what he does. That's the whole point. We follow in the footsteps of others that are where we want to be. You can go that route, use the tool. It works better when you remember the day in the life step of, I call when I've seen they've clicked on it because there's a reason they clicked on it, right? No one randomly clicks on it and says, oh, this is a good one to click on. It's because they want an updated number or they're looking closer or their friend just went on the market or something and they're looking for some piece of information. Pick up the phone. Okay, now I'm going to make the right turn. You mentioned Gabby AI, folks, that's built into Brivity. Let's talk a little bit. What's your favorite use of Gabby to help grow business?
Gabby is so helpful in so many ways. I love that you can just go in and ask questions about your database and ask like, hey, who are my top 5 people that are to list their house within the next few months? Who are my top 5 buyers? So you can ask it any question you want. Hey, what should I use in this script? I love the not mass texting. It's not mass texting. It's texting in a one-on-one scenario. But an agent on our team a few weeks ago, I should say, she had a brand new lead come in. She called him immediately. He did not answer. She texted him immediately, and he did not answer. About 10 minutes later, she turned on Gabby. Gabby responded, sent a message out about 5-10 minutes later. That lead started engaging. She got sidetracked, and she came back like 30 minutes later, and it was literally sitting on a T for her where Gabby had gotten a lot of information, and he was ready to set an appointment at that point.
Duh. Right? I mean, folks, isn't that the dream? Right? The dream is everyone just calls us, that every day I wake up, I go into the office, and before I do any lead gen, 2 people call me and say, come list my house. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. May that be my job. Yet, how would you like to have Gabby sit there, sound like you, and have the conversation with the person and set them up to a point where all you got to say, great, does 3 o'clock work better? Or do you want me there at 4 o'clock? Because Gabby's already helped along the way. Use the tools that are there. They only get better. They only get smarter. And here's the thing, Bob and I keep hearing from people and sharing with people. If you're using Brivity and not putting notes in the clients and follow-ups and when you're doing things, Gabby doesn't have anything to go on. She can't magically just pull stuff from the sky, right? She's going and looking at your notes plus the stuff Brivity has taught Gabby to do. You've got to do part of the work so Gabby can help you help yourself.
As you mentioned, that reminded me of another feature. I love the fact that Brivity turned on the possible call recording feature now. And so it depends on what state you're in, but in Indiana, it's a one-party state. And it's not like we're doing anything malicious with these call recordings. But what happens is the AI literally inputs the notes for us. So we make the calls, the call AI listens to it, and it inputs notes. So we don't even have to type out notes anymore.
And isn't that half of your excuses, everybody? I don't want to take that time to type out all the notes. Great. Don't worry about it. Depending on your state, of course, Gabby records it. Otherwise, just add a line into your script that says, hey, Trae, I'm going to be recording this call, and that's just so I follow up correctly on anything that comes from this call. You're okay with that, right? Right. Great. Let's get into the phone call. And now I've recorded it and let them do their job. All right. Trae, I think you and I both talk really fast. So I think we just did an hour in about almost a half hour. I'm going to give you the last minute. I'm going to put you on the spot. I like doing this on the podcast for Win, Make, Give, Bob and I. I like doing this here when Bob gives me the opportunity or when he remembers to ask it. 1 minute. I don't care if you go back and talk about something you already covered and say, this is that important, I'm going to say it again. Or if there's something sitting in your heart or your head that you're saying, we didn't talk about, and I want to add this. You got 1 minute. Take us home.
Gosh, there's so many ways I could go with this. But if you're listening to this, kudos to you. That means you're somebody that wants to learn and get better. Like you didn't stumble upon this. You are somebody that actively wants to grow your real estate business. But you've just spent, I don't know how long this has been, 20, 30 minutes, however long it's been. You spent this much time listening to it. And if you walk away from this and you don't actually implement anything that we've talked about, you've wasted your time. I'm a big believer that trainings without implementation is merely entertainment. So pick out one nugget from this, go out and implement it with tomorrow. Don't waste time. Or even if you're in your driver to the office today, go out, implement something. One piece. It doesn't have to be everything. One piece.
There you go. We hope we entertained you, yet don't let this just be entertainment and an excuse to not be working. Go implement something. You want to know more about it, just dive into Brivity. It's got the help desk right there. It's got the FAQs right there. It'll be able to give you some answers or follow-up if there's something that you heard today that you're like, I heard that. I didn't know about that. How do I go learn more about that? All right. Folks, if you get the chance, like I said, text, Facebook, blow up Bob somehow. It's his birthday today. Let's interrupt it, but put a huge smile on his face with every beep that's going off on his phone so that Bob knows the world's thinking about him today. Trae, thanks for joining us, folks. Bob will be back next week. We'll see you then.